Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Jenna here. A few weeks back, we have Sarah Jensen from Hugh and Grace joining our Instagram Live. And Hugh and Grace is one of our most popular million marker approved product. And we're a huge fan of their better than clean slogan and how the brand embodies toxic-free product through packaging and then much more ingredients and much more. And being better than clean isn't just like the female's role in the house, but that's why we invited Ben Jensen to join us. Ben is Sarah's husband and co-founder of Hugh and Grace. And if you're interested in shopping for Hugh and Grace product, please click our link in bio. And all Million Marker followers gets 10% off by using the code million at checkout. Now let's see. Oh, here you are. Hey.
Uh, How are you?
Good, good. This is like super smooth, so no technical difficulties.
Hey, the day is young. Come on.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm always worried about the awkward silence, in the beginning. I'm like, what should I say?
Dead air. Dead air.
So
Great.
thank you. Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be with you. Thank you for the invite.
No, thank you for joining. We're like super happy to have a male perspective.
Hey.
Think, yes. Well, yes, a lot of our guests are so far have been mostly female, so we're just like really excited that you could join us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to lend my voice however I can, and I love the work that you're doing, and you've been a great supporter of Hugh and Grace. And so anything I can do to help you is that's easy.
Yes, thank you. So before we get started, tell all the viewers a little bit about your education and business background.
Yeah. So I'm Ben Jensen. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Hugh and Grace, and we are a wellness company with a focus on skincare currently. We have a lot of other product lines coming along. Our whole journey is kind of related to our personal background, and so I'll hit that and then give you my business background in there. Our company was founded on really a personal struggle. My wife and I have tried for 14 years to have a family, and we're unsuccessful. And we learned a lot about, actually quite late in our process, after going through many rounds of IVF, we learned about toxic chemicals. We learned about hormone disrupting chemicals. We learned about these things that we wish we'd have known. And that was the reason why we started Hugh and Grace, the company, because we had also been gifted. My sister gave birth to our son, Hugh, as our surrogate, and my wife's sister gave birth to our daughter, Grace, as our gestational surrogate. So we are incredibly fortunate, and that is what brought me to you. What brought me to running a business in personal care is a bit of a departure, but my background, I've been largely an investor, real estate, private equity. I've also operated some businesses. Went to graduate school at USC and got a couple master's degrees, MBA and a master of real estate development. And then just started on a career that was varied, but also I had the good fortune to be able to help reshape and turn around some businesses and learn a lot of lessons that have benefited us as Sarah and I, my wife and co-founder, we're looking at how we should take Hugh and Grace to market. And I think a lot of those learnings really prepared us to look at the world a little bit differently and look at the power of conversation and of personal connection. And so that's really the business model we created with Hugh and Grace. So we harnessed business learnings, what we learned on direct consumer and having a relationship with the customer, and then thought about, all right, if our customers or our advocates are the ones who are sharing about our products and our mission and about the mission of cleaner products and hormone disruption, we'd like to figure out how to reward them rather than just Facebook and Google. We want to reward individuals, and so that's our business model. It's a really, we call it peer-to-peer. It's a modernized way for people to share products and then receive commission for it, and we're having a lot of fun beyond just doing that. So that's maybe more than what you wanted to know, but that's my background in a nutshell and in the context of why I'm sitting here with you.
it did came in handy when you're and Sarah building here in Grace, and I just love the peer-to-peer education, and it's not just education and rewarding advocates, but it's also empowering people and them going out empowering people, and I find that super powerful.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's been incredible. We launched our business. We incorporated just before COVID. We were set to launch. We had all of our funding lined up and everything else, and then COVID hit, and it pretty much delayed us for a year. And there was some tough times in that period, but we weathered the storm. Really learned some good early lessons, and we've been really fortunate to be growing rapidly. And it feels a lot better than when we started. I can tell you, rapid growth is more fun than trying to figure out how to get launched.
This is awesome. So how does a discussion like starting a company even come up in a family? Like, how did you and Sarah first discuss this?
Yeah, well, you know my wife. It kind of
Yes.
Ben, we have our kids. We learned a lot. We need to do something about it. I think we should start a business or start something. And I said, no, I don't want to. I want to relax. We've got our kids. Let me be at peace. And then she didn't stop. She kept saying it, and then she made the case, and I appreciate this about her. We had the good fortune of having good education, having good networks, have really prepared ourselves to. We'd spent a lot of time helping other people succeed, and really never looked inward and said, what do we want to do? And that conversation of what is it that we want to do with our lives? How do we want to leave an impact on this world? How do we want to help others? That's what led to me coming around to saying, yeah, we do have some work to do, and we do have a unique ability to, and experiences and background and resources. We can do this, and it won't be easy because leaving security and comfort is not, but nothing would be more important. So we really went to work formulating how and what and why. And our business, we first were thinking it's going to be a fertility company because that was our problem. But when we started thinking of and learning about hormones and hormone disruption, that's when we started saying this is so many people in so many different ways. And you are the most qualified to speak on all of those ways. But is my connection okay?
Yeah, it's probably me. Now it's good.
Okay, great. I never know. You never know how many people are at home working, how much bandwidth to take away from the neighborhood.
Yes. No, I love the mission, and I love the fact that you guys really go out of your ways now to empower people, to help people. Because during Sarah's Instagram live with us, we also had her talk about how she really changed the maternity leave policy and USC and beyond. And that's just like very, very incredible.
Yeah, look, we both worked hard on that. She and she has a ton of passion and an ability to connect with people a very special way. And my I guess strength would be to really see the big picture and how we can approach things strategically and thoughtfully, and how do we address this stuff. And so I think that's why when I looked at us as a couple working together, I could think of all the reasons why it didn't make sense real fast. But as I thought about our skill sets and how they were not overlapping, they were complementary. I thought if we can treat each other with respect, because that's the hard part when you've got your husband and wife, you can escalate from 0 to 10 like that. Because I know what you're thinking right now. You don't, but you think you do. If we could get that in a good, safe place, I thought we could accomplish a lot. And took about 6 months of friction and learning boundaries and learning roles, perhaps. And then it's been pretty good. We figured out I'm good at things that she has no interest in, and she's good at things that I have no interest in. And so I stay in my lane over here, and she stays in her lane over here. And then when we need to have big discussions and decisions, we work together jointly. So that's kind of how we've been surviving. And I'd argue thriving.
This is wonderful. So I asked Sarah the same question, would love to hear your answer to, since everybody could be different. So what does better than clean mean to you?
Yeah, I know how Sarah describes it. For me, yeah, I studied marketing in undergrad, and then I went into finance and didn't use it a lot. But so much of what is on the market today is driven purely by marketing. So do we really need a 10-step regimen? Well, the advertisers or the companies tell us we do. We don't. And so for me, the idea clean is a term that I feel like has been overused and even prostituted. And I mean that very specifically. It's used to make money in kind of an inauthentic way. And so when I think better than clean, I think better than lip service, better than marketing. Let's make something that's got integrity and honesty behind it. And let's put products on the market that are simple, that work, that provide good value. You know, if you're replacing 4 products and you're replacing that time, and then you're only buying the one, our products aren't cheap. Our products are crafted but I feel like they're a great value for what you get. To me, that's better than clean. That's better than quote unquote the marketing term clean. You know, but better performing, better for you. That's generally kind of where Sarah goes. And for me, it's just approaching the whole notion of products in a better way.
I love it. I love it. So many women we work with seems to take the brunt of fertility issues on their own shoulders, you know. But then there are so many studies actually demonstrated that male infertility could also be the reason. So as a male, you know, what do you think there? Why is there a disconnect for this?
You know, this is one of the things that I feel strongly that should be discussed more, and why I've lent my voice to it. And it's I think I'll just speak to my experience as a young man, first dealing with infertility and the way I approached it, and then as a man that went through and saw an evolution and became very changed in the way I approached it. So when we first started trying to get pregnant, I wasn't worried about it. Time passed. We started worrying a little about it, concerned about it. You with me?
Yes, yes,
I'm
my
breaking up.
back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably me. Now we're good.
Okay. Yeah. So at first, I was frankly just frustrated with the idea of infertility, and I felt, I'm just being honest, it's not something I'm proud of, but I felt like this is, well, if we're not getting pregnant, it's definitely not me, you know, because if it's me, that means I'm not a man because my stuff should work. You know, it's very primal. And I think so much of the way men are wired is be strong, protect, provide. And that was my first reaction, to the point where I don't feel like, looking back, I wasn't supportive of at all. And I'm sure I hurt the situation, not helped. And so that went on for a few years. And then we started doing infertility treatments, and my wife was getting shots every day. I start crying when I talk about this. But I saw a deep pain that my wife was going through. And the reality was, um, in our case, it was unexplained, man or woman, right? We both had stuff that could have been different, or it could have been okay or not okay, and the doctors could never tell us. But so I was equally contributing or equally not contributing to the issue. Yet I was the one that was not supporting Sarah, and I'm feeling like, and I think she felt very alone, and she didn't verbalize it much, and it put a tremendous strain on our relationship. And I remember one time, just, she finally broke down. She's a strong woman. She doesn't break. I mean, very rarely. And she finally just broke down to the point of tears, and I saw that pain. And it's when I saw that I realized I have done this so wrong, and I have not supported her, and it's hurting her. And that doesn't get talked about enough, because if men went through that and heard about that and could feel a little bit of that at the beginning, I think they would be a lot more compassion and support. And so even today, I feel like I have a bit of a penance. I have to speak this because somebody's got to learn from it. So that hopefully another person or another couple doesn't have to go through the same pain.
Wow. Not many men can talk about this. So yeah, thank you. And I think more men really need to hear this. This is so incredible.
Well, it needs to be said. It's not comfortable, but it needs to be said.
So men traditionally apply like far fewer chemicals and products on their body compared to like human. Do you think it's still important, for men to eliminate their toxic exposure then?
I do, and I think it's probably different toxic exposure. You know the statistics better than I, but I think the average woman's about 168 chemicals. That's the combination of all the stuff going on. Men's down in the 80s or something, so it's about half. But it's the addition and accumulation of things, and then men also have different issues. If they have a sedentary lifestyle, it leads to poor sperm quality. If there's heavy drinking, all of that. So I think if we're talking specifically about fertility, there are foods that need to be considered. There is general health principles that need to be considered, and then products need to be considered. This one, for me, I can't say it was a causation thing, but it was something that was like, it surprised me. I had been using the same tea tree shampoo for 15 years, every single day. And as I'm doing research, I'm looking at the chemicals you're supposed to stay away from. So there's also, there's all the different petroleum-based chemicals in that shampoo. And then I look at the other natural substances that can have effects on hormones. And there's studies that tea tree at repetitive and high exposure can mess with male. It can be an estrogenic. And then there's also high concentrations of lavender. And there's a little bit of argument around those things. But for me, it would have been a lot more comforting had I had some awareness and just said, well, I'm trying to have a family. I can make a simple swap. I like my shampoo, but I can use something else that's healthier. I just didn't even know to think about that. And so did that cause infertility? No. Did it contribute to it? I can't say that it could have just chipped away at some of those things. If nothing else, it would have given me a better sense of peace and confidence that I was that I was doing what I could do. And with infertility in particular, there's so much out of your control that if you can just let me control this, it gives some sense of peace.
Yes.
That's why the whole products discussion, you say it very, very well, that the easiest way to change your chemical load and your chemical exposure is by making changes to the things you put on your body every day. What goes on your body gets in your body. Well, we learned a little bit and we made some simple substitutions. We could make a step in the right direction. You can't control everything, but I can control this little part. It gives me comfort, gives me, hope.
I know Hugh and Grace worked with award-winning formulators, to come up with your product. So how's that collaboration process look like?
It was a journey. Sarah and I knew what the mission of the company was, but before we knew what the products of the company were. And we had a vision and an idea of what we had hoped to emulate in our brand. But then we had to go back and say, now what products should we develop and how should we approach it? Because we could have gone anywhere, because so much there's the things we cleaning substances our home contribute in a significant way, and then there's the things that we put in our body. So where should we start? And we just thought, let's just start with the body's largest organ. Let's start with the skin. And if we can simplify and reduce steps and reduce common chemicals and promote really great performance from natural products, that would be a great way to do it. So we went to work interviewing literally the largest formulation group in the world down to boutique kind of farm-based formulators, and we found a great hybrid that was leaning more towards that really boutique natural product development, which is, it's really like craftsmanship to put products together like this. And we looked at it humbly and said, well, we're not going to be able to develop something in our bathtub that's gonna have the performance that we need and the rigorous quality standards. So we found a group that has worked and gotten all of the clean certifications you can imagine. We don't really pride ourselves on those certifications because they're always a moving target and really talk about what's not, but we already adhere to all of them. We just don't like to necessarily spend the money to promote somebody else's brand on our packaging. And we may change that, but right now we're focused on growing our company. But that's how we did it. We looked and we approached it humbly and we just said, this is where we need to get. Can you help us? And we found a great group that's done a great job with us. And we have several others that we're working with. And it's amazing when you just ask people and you share openly with what you're trying to accomplish. It's amazing what happens.
This is amazing. And then also congrats because you guys putting so much effort now. So Hugh and Grace's Restore and Renew was named Forbes Best Skincare for Men While Traveling. So that's like huge.
There we go. We made the men's list.
Yes, the men's list.
But when we were figuring out how we would package, there's our stuff, and I said, well, Sarah actually said, I want to make sure that men are included in the conversation, which I appreciated. And then I said, and I want to make sure that I wouldn't be embarrassed to have it on my countertop and or travel with it. I was literally on a ski trip this weekend, and I brought both of our serums because I could fit them in my toiletry bag, and I put them out, and the guys were all using it after their skin was all beat up from being out in the sun or the cold elements, and it was awesome because that was really nice that I could the same products that my wife uses, I use. We put on our kids. My son, he had some cracked skin, and so we put on our body oil, and we have a new lip treatment that helps. You got some cold, so it's great to feel good about what we produce, and not to stress about is this really clean? Is this marketing? Is this that? It is. We insured it.
Echo to that, my husband also really loved the serum because I got him to use it too.
There we go.
So he loves it.
Talk about infertility, and then they need to talk about serums.
Absolutely. So Hugh and Grace have several. Hugh and Grace have several products. What's your favorite? I guess I'm got disconnected again.
No, I'm
sorry. I got you lost me again, huh?
Oh, no problem. We're good. My favorite product. Well, when we first launched, we only had face serum, which is it's this. Then we launched, and we had our body oil and our body bar. And initially, my favorite product was the body bar, and I still love it because it smells. It's got it smells like a dreamsicle. Lathers well, and it doesn't dry me out, and so that was fantastic. And then we came out with the night serum. I liked the product, and then one night, Sarah, I was tired, and I said, Sarah, can you just put it on my face? And she said, yes. And she put it on my face. And then I loved the product because I had this at-home spa experience. So on days that I'm really extra kind, she puts the night serum on me, and I smell it, and it just smells like it's relaxing, and it doesn't smell like perfume. It's not really fragrant. It smells great. You could say lovely. You could say it's just. So I love it. For me, the senses starts with smell, then and the eyes. I love to cook, and so all of those senses kind of need to come together, and that's what we've been lucky, and not lucky. We've worked hard. We've been fortunate that we've been able to come up with these great products.
Absolutely, this is so awesome. So so thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully, you're not losing me again.
No, you're.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm happy. You said thank you for. Yeah, I can hear you now. So thank you for having
me, first of all. Internet.
And congratulations on the good work you're doing. Thank you for having me. Really, Marker. Look forward to doing more
I guess
together and happy
internet.
to help any way that I can.
Thank you. We're growing together. So everyone, be sure to follow Hugh and Grace, and you can. Yes, thank you.
Follow Million Marker, follow Hugh and Grace.
All right, and then our internet. Yes, follow me on for Hugh and Grace. And then don't forget, use the million to at checkout to get 10% off.
Yeah, check out what Jenna's doing. They do at-home chemical exposure testing, and it's something that we're starting to incorporate with our product development stuff. All right, thanks, Jenna.
Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ben.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining.